For too long, you've been fed a convenient lie about reality. A lie designed to keep you powerless. Tonight, we shatter that illusion. Welcome to the hidden truths of the Kybalion. Welcome, seekers, to Kuvox Shift, and to another potent activation in our series, Awaken Your Inner Creator. And this is Sukhmander. Tonight, we journey beyond the veil of the obvious, into the whispers of ancient wisdom that have echoed through time, guiding the truly awakened. For too long, we've been told a convenient lie about reality, a lie that keeps us tethered, unaware of the profound loom on which our lives are woven. But the Kybalion, that timeless tome, invites us to remember what the universe has always known. It's time to lift the shroud. The all is mind, the great dream. Consider this: the very fabric of existence, everything you perceive, every star, every atom, every thought, it is all held within a vast, living tapestry of consciousness. The Kybalion declares, the all is mind. Not a metaphor, but a profound, undeniable truth. You, dear one, are not separate from this cosmic ocean. You are a shimmering droplet of its infinite essence. We've been taught that consciousness is a byproduct of the brain, a biological accident. But what if the inverse is true? What if the universe itself is an unbroken stream of consciousness, and your magnificent brain merely a receiver, a translator, a lens through which this infinite mind expresses itself? This realization inverts everything. Your thoughts are not just fleeting internal chatter, they are the very crystalline building blocks of your reality. The world doesn't happen to you, it unfolds through you. Your deepest beliefs sculpt your perceptions carve your experiences, and your experiences become your lived reality. The external world, then, is not a master to be appeased, but a perfect, unflinching mirror. Why, then, is this profound truth not sung in our schools, whispered in our scientific halls, or embraced in our healing spaces? Because, my friends, if you truly grasped the boundless creative power of your own mind, you would be ungovernable. You would no longer crave external validation, nor would you be swayed by the manufactured narratives of fear and scarcity. You would reclaim your inherent sovereignty, and the systems that thrive on your compliance, economic, religious, political, they do not flourish in the light of awakened sovereignty. Some truths, as the ancients knew, are too potent, too liberating for the casual ear. This is why we created Insights Academy, a sanctuary for deeper wisdom, where we share what cannot be broadcast to the masses. Mentalism is the ultimate awakening. It transcends mere positive thinking or material manifestation. It unveils you as an integral part of a reality-forging engine, one that responds not to brute force, but to your innermost alignment. The outer world is but a printout of your inner code. Once you perceive this, you cease trying to mend the illusion and begin to rewrite the very script from within. The question is not if you are creating your reality, but whether you are doing so consciously or unconsciously. For the mind, either way, is the cause. The Kybalion simply hands you the wheel. As above, so below, the echoing universe. We are steeped in a narrative of separation. Your body divorced from your mind from the world, the distant stars merely dead dust, your emotions random chemical storms within your skull. But what if this entire framework is a grand misconception? What if the same immutable laws that choreograph galaxies also orchestrate your deepest thoughts? What if the universe is not a collection of disconnected fragments, but a multi-layered, infinite, and profoundly interconnected reflection? This is the second Hermetic principle, correspondence. It is encapsulated in that ancient, potent phrase, a phrase whose true power often eludes us. As above, so below, as within, so without. This is not merely poetic verse. It is the very physics of the soul. The Kybalion unveils a universe built on repeating patterns, echoing across all planes of existence: mental, physical, spiritual. The microcosm mirrors the macrocosm. Your inner landscape is impeccably reflected in your outer world. The hidden patterns emerge through this grand repetition across scale. Every experience in your daily life is an echo, a resonance of something far deeper. And once this understanding dawns, your perception of life utterly transforms. You cease asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and instead begin to inquire, "What is this revealing about me?" Look to your relationships, your endeavors, your emotional currents, your very physical vessel. They are not arbitrary. They are signals, feedback loops, projections of your inner patterns. If your external world feels like a tempest, it is because there is a corresponding storm within, a chaos that yearns to be acknowledged. If your life feels stagnant, perhaps your inner vision has remained unchanged for years. You are not cursed, nor are you merely unlucky. You are simply out of alignment. And when the internal and external resonate in harmony, reality flows. Pain, then, is not punishment. It is invaluable information. This principle also unveils why genuine spiritual growth is not an escape, but a profound act of reflection. You need not retreat to a remote monastery or exile yourself from the world to uncover truth. You need only to gaze more deeply at what already stands before you. Everything is symbolic. Every frustration is a profound lesson. Every yearning is a cosmic map. Every relationship, a crystalline mirror, guiding you back to the truth of yourself. Nothing is insignificant in a universe crafted by correspondence. It also means that your personal healing reverberates through the whole. When you elevate your own frequency, when you harmonize your inner world, when your actions align with your truth, you shift far more than just your individual life. You create ripples across the field. You transform the collective. For as above, so below. But also, as you heal, so too does the world. This is not idealistic fancy. It is energetic causality. You are not small, nor are you separate. You are fractal, a pattern within the grand, infinite pattern. And what you cultivate within cascades outward. But the systems of this world do not wish for you to perceive this. They desire your gaze to remain outward, seeking answers, solutions, rescue. They wish for you to be perpetually busy, mending symptoms rather than addressing causes. They offer a plethora of remedies for your body, your mind, your life, but they withhold the central truth. The thing you seek to mend is the reflection, not the root. The root, beloved seeker, is always you. And this is precisely why the Kybalion poses a profound challenge to the established order. It beckons you to cease rearranging the mirrors and to instead transform what is being reflected. Such power is beyond management. Such awareness is profoundly contagious. The principle of correspondence is not merely a concept, it is a lens. Once you choose to look through it, you cease reacting to reality and begin, instead, to read it. And when you can read reality, you gain the power to rewrite it, just as you would a vivid dream, once you truly understand who is dreaming. Everything vibrates, the symphony of existence. Nothing rests, everything moves, everything vibrates. This isn't just ancient Hermetic philosophy, it is the very bedrock of quantum science. At the subatomic level, what we perceive as solid is, in truth, an intricate dance of constant motion. Your physical form, your ephemeral thoughts, your surging emotions, your perceived physical reality itself, it is all energy, oscillating at myriad frequencies. This is the third Hermetic principle, vibration. And once you truly grasp it, you begin to comprehend why nothing in your life fundamentally changes until your energy shifts. We've been conditioned to believe that success is solely about action, healing about rigid discipline, happiness about acquiring external objects. But the profound truth is this: your life doesn't respond to what you do. It responds to what you are, to the frequency you are emitting, moment by exquisite moment. Many believe they are stuck due to their circumstances. But in most instances, the circumstance is merely a perfect match for the subconscious signal they have been broadcasting. This is the unvarnished honesty of vibration. It does not deceive. It mirrors you precisely, whether you are aware of it or not. Consider the phenomenon of music. Two strings, tuned to the same frequency, will resonate in harmony across a vast room. This is the very essence of resonance. Now apply this to your thoughts and emotions. If you are vibrating in the frequency of fear, you will, by universal law, attract experiences, individuals, and outcomes that align with that very frequency. Not as punishment, not as a moral decree, but simply because that is the frequency to which you are tuned. The universe is not personal, it is vibrational. It does not merely hear your words, it feels your signal. This is why superficial affirmations often fall flat. You can intone, "I am abundant," 1,000 times over. But if beneath that declaration, your core frequency is lack, fear, or desperation, the true message being broadcast is not abundance. It is a profound contradiction. And contradiction does not create, it confuses the field. Your life is not constructed upon what you merely say you want. It is built upon what you are energetically aligned with. This is why genuine change doesn't occur through brute force. It happens through a shift in frequency. And frequency transforms when you dare to be utterly honest with yourself, when you allow yourself to feel what you've been avoiding, when you release resistance to what is, and begin to realign with what could be. Most are unaware of how profoundly their vibrational state has been hijacked. From the moment you awaken, your environment relentlessly attempts to program your frequency. The news broadcasts fear, advertisements peddle inadequacy, social media cultivates comparison. All of it is a subtle frequency warfare, and the more reactive you become to it, the more your vibration falls under external control. This is why stillness holds such immense power, why solitude is sacred. Not because they are fleeting trends, but because they carve out the sacred space for you to return to your original, unadulterated frequency before the world dictated who you should be. Every aspect of your life is composed of energy, and every form of energy possesses a unique pattern, a signature, a resonance. Therefore, if you genuinely desire to shift your life, cease chasing the external outcomes. Instead, shift the signal. Elevate your frequency. Come into resonance with the version of you that already embodies the life you deeply desire. Then, and only then, align your thoughts, your actions, and your emotions to that elevated vibration. And do so consistently. For consistency is coherence, and coherence is the crucible in which vibration transmutes into reality. This is not ephemeral spiritual fluff. It is ancient science, subtly veiled as spirituality. It is the very operating system behind manifestation, intuition, healing, and even the spark of creativity. And if this truth were not profound, it would not be wielded against you. Consider this. Entire industries are meticulously constructed around the art of hijacking your frequency. Fast food, clickbait, pharmaceuticals, mindless entertainment. These are not mere distractions, they are deliberate disruptors. For when your vibration is low, you are easily influenced, readily persuaded, effortlessly controlled, and comfortably kept in a state of slumber. But when you consciously, intentionally, unapologetically raise your vibration, something transformative occurs. You begin to cultivate an immunity to manipulation, not because the external world changes, but because your frequency no longer resonates with the falsehoods. You cease reacting to the external tempest and begin to create from within. You become a magnet, not for superficial things, but for truth, for alignment, for authenticity. And from that sacred space, everything else begins to effortlessly fall into its rightful place. So ask yourself, with brutal honesty, what frequency am I truly living at? Not what you wish it was, not what you pretend it is, but what it genuinely is. For your life is constantly revealing this truth. Your energy does not lie, and neither, my friends, does the universe. Everything flows, the rhythm of life. Life, in its grand design, unfolds in intricate patterns, in the steady pulse of tides, the graceful turning of seasons, the cyclical dance of creation and dissolution. You witness it in the natural world, the waxing and waning of the moon, the rhythmic beat of a heart, the inhale and exhale of breath, the majestic rise and fall of ocean waves. Yet, how often do we pause to truly grasp that this very same immutable rhythm is perpetually unfolding within our own lives? Emotionally, mentally, energetically, there is always an inherent rhythm at play. This is the fifth Hermetic principle, rhythm. The swing of the pendulum is an undeniable reality. What we often fail to recognize is that it has, for too long, held sway over us without our conscious consent. The Kybalion states, with elegant simplicity, everything flows out and in, everything has its tides, all things rise and fall. This isn't merely poetic sentiment, it is a brutally practical, profound truth. Your moods ebb and flow, your energy naturally fluctuates, your confidence waxes and wanes. Sometimes life feels utterly effortless. Other times, it feels like an arduous trek through quicksand. And what do most people do? They attempt to fight this natural current. They label the highs as success and the lows as failure. But that is not the wisdom of rhythm. It is not punishment, it is movement. And when you resist this inherent rhythm, you inevitably create suffering. When you learn to flow with it, you unlock immense power. Recall the last time you felt truly atop the world. Everything aligned, everything flowed effortlessly. Your ideas were crystalline, your body felt light, your spirit soared. You likely thought, this is precisely how I am meant to feel. But then, subtly, perhaps suddenly, it shifted. The motivation receded, the clarity dimmed. You felt a new heaviness, a cloudiness, a disconnect. That swing is not a failure, it is rhythm. Yet society has subtly programmed us to relentlessly chase the highs and to fear the lows. So every time the pendulum naturally swings back, we panic. We assume something is inherently wrong, we resist the natural cycle, and in that very resistance, we amplify our suffering. The sacred key to mastering rhythm lies in understanding that you are not condemned to be controlled by it. You can observe it without becoming it. The Kybalion terms this neutralization, the profound ability to hold your sacred center while the pendulum swings gracefully around you. This is not detachment in a cold, emotionless sense. It is profound presence. It is the capacity to move with the waves of life without being consumed by them, to feel deeply without losing your way, to rise without ego and to fall without despair. The rhythm will swing regardless. Your true power resides in how you respond to it. Yet, most individuals never learn this mastery. Instead, they construct their very identity around the rhythm. When external circumstances are favorable, they feel worthy. When things unravel, they collapse. Their very self-worth is tethered to their current swing, up or down, success or failure, productive or useless. And this relentless cycle keeps them emotionally ensnared, addicted to chasing fleeting highs and compulsively avoiding natural lows, never realizing that the profound, authentic freedom resides in the center. And here, beloved seeker, is the deeper truth the system will never willingly reveal. Rhythm is not solely emotional or energetic, it is systemic. The very architecture of our world is designed to keep you perpetually swinging. Capitalism thrives on this. So too do media narratives, pervasive marketing, even the structures of your workplace. You are subtly nudged into phases of consumption and exhaustion, validation and insecurity, relentless grind and inevitable collapse. Solutions are peddled for the low phases and distractions during the high ones. Why? Because the more unpredictable you feel, the more predictable your behavior becomes. This is the trap, rhythm weaponized. But when you truly comprehend the underlying pattern, you gain the power to disrupt it. You cease thinking, I am in a slump, and begin to inquire, what is the inherent rhythm here, And how can I consciously ride it? You stop fearing the inevitable dip and begin to prepare for its arrival. You cease clinging to the high and begin to utilize its energy wisely. You become less reactive and more rhythmic in your awareness. This is not spiritual bypassing. This is spiritual sovereignty. You cannot halt the pendulum's swing, but you can cultivate the profound art of finding stillness within its movement. You can establish sacred rituals, nurturing habits, and resilient mindsets that anchor you, holding you steady no matter which way life pulls. You do not need to be perpetually elated. You do not need to dread the lows. You simply need to remain connected to something deeper, something beyond the transient swing. And when you do, the external chaos loses its grip. The storm may continue to rage, but you, dear seeker, will not be swept away. Rhythm is real, and it is powerful. But it is not meant to control you. It is meant to teach you how to move, how to gracefully adapt, how to remain profoundly grounded in a world of constant motion. Once you master this, the very patterns that once threatened to break you become the majestic waves you learn to surf. You cease fearing change, you begin to flow with it. Cause and effect. The unseen loom. Many walk through life like leaves adrift in the wind, perpetually pushed and pulled by external events, shifting circumstances, and the fleeting opinions of others. They react to life rather than consciously creating it. They cling to the belief that things simply happen to them, never recognizing that life unfolds through them. But this mindset is not merely disempowering, it is a profound illusion. The sixth Hermetic principle, cause and effect, unveils a deeper, immutable truth. Nothing in the universe occurs by chance. Every result has a preceding cause, and every cause inevitably sets into motion a corresponding effect. And you, beloved seeker, whether you fully realize it or not, are either operating as the cause of your reality, or you are being swept along as the effect. This principle is the very death of victimhood. It shatters the comforting belief that life is random, that success is merely a stroke of luck, that happiness is solely a matter of timing. It meticulously demonstrates that your thoughts, your emotions, your actions, and the very focus of your awareness are the seeds, and your life, in its entirety, is the harvest. And yet, most individuals spend their precious lives attempting to rearrange the fruit while stubbornly ignoring the roots. They desperately seek to alter their external reality without ever shifting that which causes it. They chase fleeting hacks, quick fixes, deceptive shortcuts, but they rarely delve deep enough to ask, what kind of signal am I truly broadcasting into the cosmic field? When you live unconsciously, you become ensnared in a relentless loop of reactivity. Something occurs, you react. Someone disrespects you, you erupt in anger. A door closes, you spiral into despair. But reaction is not power. Reaction is predictable. It renders you programmable. And the system, my friends, thrives on this. It desires you to endlessly chase effects rather than mastering causes. It wishes for you to remain addicted to the superficial currents of life, never pausing long enough to trace anything back to its pristine source. But once you truly comprehend this principle, you begin to ask far more potent questions. Instead of the lament, why did this happen to me? You ask, what caused this? And what can I now consciously choose to cause instead? That, dear seeker, is the profound shift. From living in reaction to living in intention. From victim to creator. This is not about blame. It is about radical self-responsibility. It is about owning your energy, your deliberate choices, your deepest patterns, and understanding, with profound clarity, that they ripple outward into every single facet of your life. Cause and effect also illuminates the sacred truth of alignment. You cannot harbor thoughts of scarcity, feel the cold grip of fear, and act with hesitation, and then miraculously expect an abundant harvest. The effect will always, unfailingly, mirror the cause. The cosmic field is meticulously precise. It does not deliver what you want, it delivers what you are. Your outer world is an unwavering reflection of your inner consistency. This truth can be confronting, for it means your reality is an honest mirror you cannot deceive. But it is also profoundly liberating, for it means you are never truly stuck. Shift the cause, and the effect must follow. It has no other choice. And here is where the wisdom deepens. Your deepest causes are often unconscious, forged in the fires of childhood, intricately embedded in your nervous system, shaped by stories you did not consciously choose, but learned to inhabit. This is why true healing matters. This is why genuine inner work is real work. For until you meticulously rewire the core beliefs and emotional frequencies driving your actions, you will perpetually recreate the same effects, regardless of how many new external goals you set. It is not enough to merely change your mind. You must change the frequency behind it. This principle also serves as a profound warning, for if you are not consciously creating your reality, something else is creating through you. The media you consume, the individuals you choose to surround yourself with, the unexamined narratives running on a perpetual loop within your subconscious, these are all causes. And if you are not the one consciously choosing them, you are the one being shaped by them. You either live by default or by design. There is no neutral ground. Cause and effect is not merely a spiritual concept, it is the very architecture of reality. It explains why intention is paramount, why awareness is vital, why integrity is non-negotiable. For your choices do not simply vanish after you make them. They echo, they build momentum, they summon forth outcomes. So, if you genuinely wish to transform your life, you do not begin with the symptoms. You begin at the source. You cease reacting, and you begin to decide, with unwavering purpose, in perfect alignment, without apology. You were not meant to live as a passive spectator, waiting to see what life capriciously hands you. You were meant to create, to lead, to initiate. The question is no longer, why is this happening to me? The question is, what future am I willing to cause? Masculine and feminine, the sacred union. When most people hear the word gender, their minds immediately gravitate to biology, male and female, physical sex, social identity. But the Kybalion, in its profound wisdom, is not speaking of biology. It is speaking of energy. The seventh Hermetic Principle, gender, unveils a universal law that transcends the physical plane. Everything in existence contains both masculine and feminine principles. These are not rigid roles, they are not mere stereotypes. They are the fundamental forces of creation. And until you learn to consciously balance these two powerful currents within your own being, your life will invariably feel divided, incomplete, or profoundly out of sync. Masculine energy embodies direction, logic, unwavering will, and structure. It penetrates, focuses, moves outward, asserts. Feminine energy embodies intuition, receptivity, boundless creativity, and nurturing. It expands, feels, draws inward, receives. Both are absolutely essential. Both exist in varying degrees within every human being, every nascent idea, every intricate process of manifestation. The challenge, however, is that we have been raised in a culture that relentlessly glorifies one and subtly suppresses the other. Masculine energy is lauded. Take action, set goals, get it done. Feminine energy is often dismissed. Don't be emotional, don't be too sensitive, don't just sit still. And so, most individuals navigate the world with profoundly distorted energy, overdeveloped in one pole, and painfully disconnected from the other. When you are dominated by wounded masculine energy, you become hyper-controlling, rigid, obsessively fixated on outcomes, unable to truly rest. You attempt to force life instead of gracefully flowing with it. You burn yourself out and mistakenly label it productivity. When you are ensnared in wounded feminine energy, you may become passive, unclear, lacking vital boundaries, perpetually waiting for rescue instead of boldly creating change. Neither state is whole. Both inevitably lead to profound imbalance, emotionally, spiritually, even physically. But when you consciously integrate these two divine forces, you transmute into something entirely new, something complete. You become a creator in the purest, most profound sense. The masculine provides the structure, the feminine breathes in the inspiration. The masculine holds the sacred container, the feminine fills it with boundless meaning. This is not about being a mere half and half. It is about profound synergy. It is about learning the sacred dance of when to act and when to allow, when to speak and when to deeply listen, when to build and when to gracefully receive, when to pursue and when to powerfully attract. This principle is profoundly present in every single facet of life. Every brilliant idea you have ever conceived was a sacred union of these two forces. The initial spark of inspiration flowed through the feminine. Its disciplined execution unfolded through the masculine. Thought is masculine, emotion is feminine, logic is masculine, intuition is feminine. The most truly powerful individuals on this planet, the creatives, the innovators, the visionaries, are not merely intellectually gifted, they are energetically balanced. They possess the capacity to dream and to act, to receive and to direct, to reflect and to build. And this is precisely why the prevailing systems do not wish for you to comprehend this truth. For when you are internally divided, you are far easier to manipulate. You are constantly seeking something external to yourself to make you feel whole. You perpetually search for completion in other people, in relationships, in superficial roles, never realizing that the inherent imbalance has always resided within you. You chase external polarity, but true polarity is meant to be harmonized inside of you. This is not merely abstract energy theory, it is profoundly practical. It impacts how you lead, how you create, how you love, how you heal. If you are constantly initiating without ever resting, perpetually giving without receiving, relentlessly pushing without truly feeling, you are out of sync with the deeper laws of creation. Nature does not force, it flows, it balances, it instinctively knows when to burst forth in bloom and when to gracefully retreat. The Kybalion powerfully reminds us, gender is in everything. Everything has its masculine and feminine principles. This means that true power does not emanate from domination. It arises from integration. And if you aspire to live a life that is whole, perfectly aligned, and profoundly magnetic, you require both. You need the dynamic fire and the flowing water, the radiant sun and the luminous moon, the penetrating sword and the nurturing chalice. That, dear seeker, is not a weakness. That is mastery. That is when you cease desperately trying to be something and begin instead to become everything you already are. The truth unveiled, reclaiming sovereignty. The Hermetic principles were never truly lost. They were merely hidden. Not by fire, not by censorship, but by the insidious power of distraction, by ceaseless noise, by the meticulous design of a world that keeps you too busy to question, too entertained to look deeper, too conditioned to ever notice what has always been vibrating right in front of you. You were never meant to stumble upon the Kybalion, not because it's dangerous in the traditional sense, but because it threatens the one thing every control system utterly depends on: unconsciousness. For when people truly comprehend the immutable laws that govern reality, they cease to be victims of it. And victims, as history has shown, are far easier to manage than creators. Ask yourself, why was this wisdom not imparted in our schools? Why do we not see documentaries celebrating Hermeticism on mainstream platforms? Why is it that celebrities can peddle crystals and positive energy as fleeting trends? Yet the profound ancient science underpinning these very ideas is conspicuously absent from every classroom, every political discourse, every news cycle? This is not a coincidence. This knowledge has always been accessible, but only to those courageous enough to look beyond the distracting clamor. For once you truly grasp it, you become ungovernable. not in a rebellious, chaotic sense, but in a deeply conscious, self-aware one. You cease to live in fear. You cease to react blindly. You cease to consume unconsciously. And most profoundly, you cease needing to be told who you are. Systems of power thrive when you feel powerless. They flourish when you are convinced that everything that transpires is random, that you possess no agency over the trajectory of your own life, that you are merely a cog in a vast mechanical universe devoid of design or inherent meaning. This pervasive belief renders you manageable. You will endure jobs you loathe, acquire possessions you do not need, and passively accept narratives that keep you perpetually afraid and obedient, because you genuinely believe the world is too immense, too chaotic, too incomprehensible to grasp. But the Kybalion, with its timeless wisdom, shatters that very illusion. It reveals that reality possesses an inherent structure, that the universe operates with profound order, that your magnificent mind is not merely a bystander in this grand narrative, it is the very script itself. This knowledge was not eradicated because it failed, it was buried because it worked, because it showed humanity how to transcend the illusion, how to gracefully bend with the rhythm of existence instead of being broken by it, how to transmute the raw energy of pain into profound wisdom, and the gripping force of fear into crystal clear clarity. Hermeticism has, often subtly, influenced the very roots of alchemy, sacred geometry, Gnostic Christianity, the profound wisdom of ancient Egypt, and even the cutting edge of modern quantum theory. But instead of teaching you these foundational laws, they offered empty rituals. Instead of profound law, they offered fleeting superstition. Instead of true power, they offered a heavy burden of shame. And here, beloved seeker, is the part that demands your deepest contemplation. These principles have not vanished. They are being wielded every single day, not only by sincere spiritual seekers, but by the architects of marketing, by politicians, by elite institutions. They intimately understand rhythm. They master polarity. They know precisely how to manipulate vibration, how to subtly orchestrate effects through the nuanced power of language, emotion, and fear. They know how to meticulously frame the world, ensuring you interpret it precisely as they desire. And if you do not understand these fundamental laws for yourself, you will inevitably find yourself influenced, even controlled, by those who do. The true war has never been for your money. It has always been for your mind, for your perception, for your very sense of what is real. That is why the Kybalion is not merely a book. It is a lens. Once you choose to don it, the illusions begin to unravel. You perceive the underlying rhythms beneath the news headlines, the true causes behind the trends, the inherent polarity in every heated debate. You cease to be emotionally baited by systems meticulously designed to keep you swinging between outrage and apathy. You see through the elaborate manipulation, and you begin, with quiet resolve, to step out of it. And when enough awakened individuals choose to step out, the entire illusion begins to gracefully collapse. Not through violence, not through overt rebellion, but through the irresistible force of awareness, through profound clarity, through thousands of minds no longer willing to participate in the story they were conditioned to believe. That, dear seeker, is the true power of hidden knowledge, not to conquer others, but to reclaim yourself. The awakened seeker, your unfolding mastery. Once you truly perceive the pattern, you cannot unsee it. The illusion begins to fade, not suddenly, but like the morning fog lifting from a vast landscape, slowly, clearly, perhaps at first painfully, and then, with breathtaking power. The Hermetic journey is not about transforming into someone new. It is about the profound act of remembering what was always, eternally true. That the universe is not random, that consciousness is not passive, that your very life, no matter how chaotic it may have seemed, has been meticulously shaped not by mere chance, but by the silent, immutable laws you were never taught to see. And now, you have seen them. The true seeker does not retreat from the world. They engage with it differently. They cease accepting everything at face value. They no longer cling to the belief that external events represent the full narrative. They learn to read energy, to feel rhythm, to sense cause and effect rippling gracefully through time. They cease chasing fleeting outcomes and begin, instead, to align with timeless principles. The Hermetic seeker is not a distant guru or a robed mystic. They are the individual who can remain calm amidst the swirling chaos when all others are spiraling, who can see through manipulation without being consumed by rage, who can create, transmute, and lead, not through forceful control, but through profound coherence, through a deep understanding of the universal laws, and by embodying them in every breath. Living by the Hermetic principles does not mean that every aspect of your life suddenly becomes effortless. It means that everything becomes profoundly meaningful. The highs no longer seduce you into ego. The lows no longer have the power to destroy you. You perceive your thoughts for what they truly are, potent tools. You experience your emotions as wise guides, never as adversaries. You recognize challenges as the sacred edge of transformation, never as a curse. You become sovereign, not because you dominate life, but because you no longer need life to perform in a specific way in order to feel whole within yourself. But here is where the truth becomes even more immediate, more visceral. Knowledge without embodiment is merely trivia. Insight without action is spiritual ego. You can comprehend these laws, eloquently quote them, post them on social media. But if you do not live them, nothing will truly shift. True integration means you no longer simply believe that everything is vibration. You begin to treat your thoughts, your precious time, your very presence as if they profoundly matter, because they do. You no longer merely recite, as within, so without. You begin to meticulously clean up your inner world because you grasp that it is not optional, it is foundational. You cease outsourcing your innate power to teachers, to external systems, or to passing trends because you have now seen, with crystal clarity, what you truly are: a fractal of the all, a co-participant in the cosmic design, a being who arrived not to escape the matrix, but to master it. And that, my friends, is the profound offering of the Kybalion. Not a rigid belief system, but a framework for sovereignty. Not a religion to adhere to, but a luminous roadmap for reality itself. It does not command you what to think. It teaches you how to think, how to feel, how to interpret the intricate patterns that everyone else is too distracted to notice. It guides you back into perfect alignment with the living laws that operate relentlessly, whether you choose to acknowledge them or not. The question then is no longer whether they are real. The question is, will you choose to live in harmony with them, or will you continue to resist the irresistible rhythm of truth? And now, beloved seeker, this awareness, this potent new lens, this quiet, profound shift changes how you move through the world forever. You are no longer the same, for once you have truly remembered who you are and how reality truly functions, there is no going back to slumber. The old binding stories begin to crumble. The old persistent fears begin to dissolve, and something ancient, something deeply powerful within you begins to rise. Calm, clear, undeniably powerful. You realize with unshakable certainty that the external chaos holds no control over you, because the truth resonating within you is infinitely louder. That, dear seeker, is the profound return of the seeker, not to the system, but to the self. If this resonated with your soul, let us know by commenting, "I understood." Should we dig deeper on the Kybalion? Please feel free to let me know. If this message landed for you, if you felt that spark, that quiet yes in your soul, don't keep it to yourself. Hit that like button, subscribe for more conversations like this, and most importantly, share this episode with someone else walking this path. There's a whole world of seekers out here, quietly breaking old loops and choosing new frequencies. Are you one of them now? Let's find each other. Let's grow together. I appreciate you being here, and I'll see you in the next episode of Awaken Your Inner Creator.